Hey there, Jets Nation. Welcome back to One Jets Pod. Whether you're tuning into our video content or joining us on our audio-only platforms, we've got you covered. If you're enjoying what you hear or see, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't just gently tap, but smash that bell icon to stay notified whenever we drop new content. Also, we love comments and 5-star ratings. Thanks again, Jets fans. Now together, let's fuel the green and white passion. Let's go, Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hit it! Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the One Jets Pod, and welcome to the third episode of the 1JP Weekly Mock. I am joined by my co-host and this week's general manager, Dominic Lorenz. GM Dominic, how are you, my brother?
We're doing fantastic. It was a good week or off season since the last time we did a mock draft. I'm pretty sure for those that are watching probably want me to do this if I'm the general manager of the New York Jets, because they're like, what the heck is this Niner stuff? But you know what? Maybe I'll leave it. You know, the NFL
tampering charges.
The tampering charges. Hey, let's remind folks that the NFL logo is on some NFL football fields every once in a while. So, you know, maybe I'm representing the league here with the draft, because you never know.
The Jets would be one of them. I don't think we've had a midfield logo. Well, we had it this year, but I can't remember the last time we had an actual midfield.
No, and that's I guess the downside of sharing a stadium with the New York Giants. So you live and you learn. At least you got your end zone. It would be sucky if you had the NFL logo and then the NFL end zones, or like one's Jets, one's Giants, because they got to share the stadium. That would be worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awful. But no,
ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you checking us out here on the One Jets Pod. If you are listening on the audio side of things, we appreciate you. If you get all the way to the end, make sure to follow us and give us a 5-star. Yep. Dominic, what should they do if they're watching us on YouTube?
Well, you're going to click that subscribe button to get to every single video, podcast, highlight, snippet, whatever the genius Randy puts together for the 1JP is what is going down. So, you know, like, comment, subscribe, social media, you know what to do. I'm going to tip my cap, the backwards version, to Randy, because One Jets Pod Entertainment, new logo, new intro and entrance. I know it was a tech issue that created this, but hey, sometimes you got to make lemonade out of lemons, or lemons out of lemonade, depending on how people view things in life. And either way, it looks, you know, flipping fantastic. So what a way to we're jetting into week 3 of the mock draft. So we're looking forward to it. But yes, like, comment, subscribe.
I'm glad you brought the whole rebrand up. Yeah, that was a whole, I don't know what the hell happened there. I was cleaning out my computer. I literally gained 121 gigabytes of fucking space, dude. Now, I never touched the One Jets Pod folder. I never touched it. I didn't need to. There was nothing I needed to erase out of there. Everything else was just old shit from the old baseball stuff from the past 3 years.
Yep.
Old video files that I hadn't erased throughout the season that were in a different folder, old Zoom, all that shit. And then I restarted the computer like I always do, you know, after I defrag and all that shit.
Yep.
And then it didn't hit me until I was, you know, getting ready to go do some editing. Went to go look for my main video files when I put these things together, and the fucking folder's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I know I didn't delete it because I never touched the folder. And I went and looked at the recycling bin. The recycling bin is completely empty like it was when I restarted the computer. I'm like, dude, what the I literally lost everything. So I say all that to say we may have to push back the Champagne Awards just a little bit.
It's all right.
Because I lost all my fucking slides that I've been working on. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Lost them all.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We're going to, you know, we got a long off season to make this happen. So patience is essential, and you'll make it happen.
Out of all that was birthed a brand new, sparkling, slick, sick new fucking logo.
I love it.
The fan base just fucking I mean, they let me know that they loved it. I appreciate everybody. I was just putting that together. I came across something on Google, and I was like, you know what? That would make a
Inspiration at
perfect
its finest.
Absolutely.
Hey, everything that you do for the 1JP, it's awesome, and we're lucky to have it, man. And
hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything you guys do. Everything, all the support from the fans. We're just a low little podcast. I'm not an X and a nose guys. I'm not really a numbers guy. I just like to come on here, talk a little bit Jets football. Off season, like do a little mock draft. I'm not saying I'm a fucking expert because I'm not. You can listen to the way I talk. I'm a dumbass. But I just like to come on here, have fun with my friends, and hopefully you guys come along with the ride and have fun with this. Make sure, again, hit that like and subscribe button if you're liking what you see. Make sure you subscribe. Smash that bell notification so you're updated every time we drop new content, because well, we don't drop a whole lot during the offseason. Things will get ready to be picked up here pretty soon once free agency starts and the draft starts. But in season, man, we're here every fucking week. Are we not, Dominic? Every week.
Yes, we are, with not only Jets coverage, but the pick'ems. We talk about the league. We preview other games. We get a little bit of the San Francisco 49ers in there because you give me that little platform to talk some Niners, to get a little perspective outside of the Jets hemisphere. So we cover a lot in a very short time, only once a week. So so much to look forward to, especially in the fall when we get to year 2 of the 1JP.
Absolutely. But before we can get to year 2, we will be here every week as much as we can be. Schedules do dictate a lot of things here. But as far as we know, we're doing so far so good. 3 weeks in, we will be here every week doing a mock draft leading up to the NFL draft. And if schedules dictate, we will be doing a big mock draft special episode right before the NFL draft. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I like to get a few people on that. So with that being said, as we enter this off season, our lovely GM here, Mr. Dominic Lorenz, went out and bought us some players. Mr. Dominic, Mr. GM, would you like to explain your signees?
Of course. So, you gave me the parameters in this mock draft of around 60 to 62 million in that sense, especially with the new, right, when we were talking about this, the Lincoln Tomlinson news came out, so money shifted a little bit in that sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go all the way to the top and go sell out at this point. So just a couple $1 million shaved off just in case. So we knew the offensive line was going to be important. We knew getting a wide receiver was going to be important. And we knew quarterback was going to be important, especially the backup position as well. As if y'all watched the previous episode when we talked about Joe Douglas's comments, we've addressed those needs, or at least I've addressed those needs with this free agent class that I've put together. So first and foremost, let's start off at the offensive line. Left tackle, Jonah Williams, played for Cincinnati last year. He's an interesting case. He requested a trade this past offseason with Cincinnati, didn't make it happen, so he revoked the trade, went in and played. He was a former first-round pick and is an above-average pass protector, and he stayed healthy through the majority of the 2023 campaign. So that's big positives for the Jets when looking at somebody. Yeah. He's not going to be at the top of the payroll, so that's why I gave him 4 years, $40 million. His market value says about 10.5. So I said with the recent struggles of personnel issues in Cincinnati, he is a little bit on the older side. I believe he's over 30. Mm-hmm. His pass blocking is good. His run blocking is a little bit less. So I said, we're going to balance the two. Let's go just a shade under market value. 4 for 40, 10 mil a year. I think that's a good little selection.
I like it.
Sticking with the offensive line, going OG and not original gangster. It's going to be offensive guard in this situation. Kevin Dotson, playing for the Los Angeles Rams in this sense. And there's multiple reasons why I gave Dotson, I guess, the largest contract, or at least the largest out of the two offensive linemen in this case. One, his age dictates it. He's way younger than Jonah Williams, and he's only played in the league for about 4+ seasons. So overall, right then and there, you have that on your side. Age is...
So he's coming off a rookie contract then?
He's coming off a rookie contract. So in some way, shape, or form, he wants to get that bag.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. So 5 for 90.
Especially for offensive linemen, because, they only really get one payday.
He really found a way into his own with the Los Angeles Rams in that Sean McVay system.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just something about his youthfulness, and he does a little bit of everything on that offensive guard side of things. And he had one of the least amount of opposing sacks allowed on their own quarterback.
Okay.
Which for the Rams over the past couple of years has been Matthew Stafford, and before that, Jared Goff. So right then and there is the situation of Dotson. He's right under one of the Cowboys' offensive linemen for one of the best. I think it's Tyron Smith.
Tyron Smith, yeah.
He's probably the lead go-getter right now in the sense of, hey, offensive lineman, this is the most bang for your buck. But again, Dotson is younger than Tyron Smith of the Cowboys. So Dotson got the bag, $18 million a year, 5 for 90. You jump on over now to the wide receiver front. We talked about it last week, and we previewed on mock draft number 2. I said, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman Jr. Very similar but different at the same time. And my gut was going to go with originally Calvin Ridley. But you posted that wonderful, graphic of Michael Pittman wearing the number 6. And after doing some thinking, not just because of the photo, but doing some thinking, Michael Pittman wants to get a little bit of bag. Now, I know he does very well in Indianapolis, and he's clearly wide receiver 1 there. It's a steep drop-off. They get guys that get the job done, but there is a little bit of a drop-off.
Yeah.
So could I see him going back to Indianapolis in reality? Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I think the Jets, as we talked about at nauseam before, need a true wide receiver 2. And I think Michael Pittman fits that. He's a wide receiver 1 on any other team, except maybe a handful. He's a wide receiver 2 in this case scenario because, well, Garrett Wilson's right there. But Aaron Rodgers, who wouldn't want to receive a ball from Aaron Rodgers at that point?
Absolutely.
And I feel Michael Pittman reminds me a little bit of what Aaron Rodgers did with, remember a guy named Jordy Nelson?
Mm-hmm.
When the Packers. So I could see a lot of similarities.
Him into a star.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about, and I'm not degrading either one of those players. I'm just saying what Aaron Rodgers can do to them. Jordy Nelson on any other team is an average to a very good wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But with Aaron Rodgers, he went to the next level. Michael Pittman with Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, a little bit of Anthony Richardson last year, and a couple other wayward quarterbacks before this year for the Colts, is still a very primed, good wide receiver. But now take him up with a above-average quarterback, you could see a new side of Michael Pittman that we don't even know even exists. Sure. So 3 for 66, it's the highest paid player on the squad at $22 million a bunch. And then now we get to the interesting picks. I think that a lot of people have questions on.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the Carson Wentz one. 2 years, $10 million. And I talked about Carson Wentz during the season when I thought that's who the Jets should have went after Aaron Rodgers, the Achilles went out. I said he was an above, I don't want to say above average quarterback, but he's a quarterback that fits the Aaron Rodgers personality of it's an air raid offense. He throws the ball. Yes, you're going to get interceptions at the end of the day, but he knows how to run an offense. And in comparison to what Zach Wilson had on the table, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, it just didn't match what they were prepping for with Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. So I know last week we talked about Jacoby Brissett. He's more veteran and he will use his legs. So I tried to go more in line of who is identical to Aaron Rodgers in the air raid offense category. There was free agent quarterbacks out there like a Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill doesn't have the arm. I'm sorry. I don't see that happening. Kirk Cousins, he's not coming to the Jets to be a backup. You had Gardner Minshew, who I could have put in, but I was really hinging on Wentz is going to take less money than Gardner Minshew, especially what Minshew did with Indianapolis this year. I think 2 for 10, get Carson Wentz 5 a year. Again, he's going to be a backup pending injury or blowout. Jets are up 30-0 in the fourth quarter and you throw the backups in a safe situation.
Sure.
And you want a little more stability than a 1-year deal on a backup quarterback, just because if you draft a quarterback Give that rookie quarterback a little bit of time. Having Aaron Rodgers is great, but also having Carson Wentz is great because Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz's trajectories and journeys in the NFL have been very different. Good versatility from a rookie quarterback. Last but not least, Zach Moss. I thought I was going to stop at Carson Wentz, but I said, you know what? We talked about it last week about who's really after Breece Hall. And it doesn't sound or taste as appetizing. Just, again, when you're an organization like the Jets, and you've told me this before behind the scenes and on camera, you love your team, there's so much hope, but then one card in the house of cards drops off and it dominoes down.
Yeah.
So you almost in ways have to prepare for the worst case scenario or a shitty case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I think not having a true RB2 is something that if something goes wrong, and I don't wish injury or anything, I'm not saying Breece Hall's going to blow out his knee or something. I'm not trying to put that on anybody, but let's say in the game he gets hit the wrong way and he's got a stinger in the shoulder and he can't go back out and play. Why are you going to send out a guy that barely gets reps to try to handle the bulk of the work? Right. Zach Moss has been a nice number 2 behind Jonathan Taylor. He took advantage of the 2022 season as the number 1, and especially the first half of this year before Taylor re-signed. He has pass catching ability. He has elusiveness, and for only $4 million a year, 2 years, $8 million, I think that's strong. And especially once again, just like the quarterback position, you go get maybe a running back at the lower levels of the draft in the 5th round or later, coach him up, get him set, and then even if that running back that you draft is ready this year, or even the following year, 2025, have an RB2 battle. Why not have more and create that winning culture of battling in that sense? So all these guys that I put on the table are veterans. They're, maybe Kevin Dotson is the youngest of the bunch coming off of, a rookie contract. Mm-hmm. But you have a lot of variety of versatility and ways that those players have gotten there. Jonah Williams coming from Cincinnati, who's a perennial playoff, candidate. Kevin Dotson coming from a good Sean McVay system. Michael Pittman is a great wide receiver, had a great college setup at USC. Zach Moss, like Michael Pittman, going through those inconsistencies and trials and tribulations in Indianapolis, but finding the right side of the light. And then Carson Wentz, who had his high of highs. Remember, we forget, even though he didn't play in that Super Bowl, Carson Wentz is a Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles. So he does have that deep playoff component. He has his highs, he has his lows. So it gives you a nice little flow. So that's who I put on the table, $59 million. It's just shy of the 60 to 62 range that you gave me. I don't know. For you being on this and being, number 1 Jets guy here, honest thoughts. Don't sugarcoat it. Honest thoughts, because I know we had some repeat players the last 2 weeks on the O-line, but I wanted to change it up. Week 3, so even though the O-line guys we picked the last couple of weeks are definitely options that I would consider maybe higher than these, but still quality. Mm-hmm. Full thoughts, full discretion. You tell me.
No, I like everything you got here. I maybe not so much the Zach Moss and the Carson Wentz pick. Not a fan of Carson Wentz. I mean, I get where you're going with that. Not a big fan of the running back. I feel like we could probably get that in the draft, but we gave you full range, and if that's what you feel like the team needs, and that's what we're going to go with. Yeah. I really like the offensive line picks here, especially the Kevin Dotson pick, being as young as he is. I really like that. Even Jonah Williams, he's a proven guy in this league. I think you got him right around that good amount of money per year. And you got Michael Pittman Jr., who, I mean, pair him up with Garrett Wilson, man. I mean, that's fireworks waiting to happen, bro. So I like everything you did here, just outside of those 2 picks on the right there, but I think it's a solid job.
I will say in having this healthy conversation about free agency before we dive into the draft, mm-hmm. The Zach Moss pick, again, I wasn't going to pick a running back at all. But speaking of, the RB2 situation, and I looked at the running backs available. And after the core 5 that everybody's talking about, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, there's a 5th one out there I'm blanking at the moment. But, the top tier RBs that are going to be on the market and get top dollar. After that, there is a very steep drop-off. And the steep drop-off there would be insignificant, especially with Breece Hall and the reps that he takes. So that's why I said Zach Moss has had ability to be RB1 due to injuries and other situations. So he has more of that experience than some other cheaper maybe options. So, and again, coachability at that point. So that was more the perspective. Again, it was a last second ad while having a little money to play with.
Yeah. No, I like it. I liked it. I gave you about 62 million-ish. I might even let you go up to 65, and you kept it 60. So that's amazing. Now, I will say this. What you did, and with the way I think this offseason is going to shape up, I think AVT is going to be anchoring your right tackle position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got Jonah Williams at the left tackle position. Now you got Kevin Dawson at one of the guard positions. You got Joe Tippmann at center.
Yep.
So that allowed us to make a trade with the Rams. Now, first of all, excuse me, them chicken nuggets making me gassy. We still traded Zach away. I believe we got a 5th round pick for him from, I believe, the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah, made that trade. So we got that pick. We got that taken care of.
Okay.
But this free agency class that you did allowed me to trade swap number 10 for number 19 with the Rams and pick up a 2nd round pick in the process.
Okay. So balancing out and for full disclosure to everybody watching, last draft, and we're carrying it on probably through the rest of the mock drafts, unless otherwise noted. 1 trade per draft.
Yep.
And we agreed before we hit the record button that this trade that happened before we logged on here will be the one and only trade we accept here in mock draft number 3. So we moved down from 10 to 19, courtesy of the Rams, but in that -9, we do enter into the 2nd round, because before that we would have had 0 2nd round picks. So a good selection at the end of the day. I like the draft. And you know me, I've talked about it now in all 3 mock drafts, and I'll probably talk about it when we get to that point. There's a lot of options when you get to 112 and 114. And if you guys watch mock draft 2, that's where we made that trade. That gives you a little buffer. So, and I believe we did something similar to that in mock draft 1. Maybe it was a little earlier. So mock draft 3, different scenarios. We're going to take 2 picks in those 3 when we get to the 4th round. So there's a first time for a lot of different things here. So, this is what mock draft is about here, folks.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into this week's, let's take a little flashback look at last week's picks. Now,
I just see a buttload of A's and A+, so I don't care who they are.
Dude, we nailed that fucking draft, dude.
Joe Alt at 10.
We made that draft a bitch. Yeah, Joe Alt, dude. Like, it didn't even compute with us at first that he was available. And
no,
like, dude, he's available. I'm like, oh my god, how the hell does that happen, dude? Can I tell you right now? In real life, that's not happening.
Maybe not. But it's not going to happen this time around, because I doubt he's going to fall to number 19. But what I will say is,
we don't need a tackle at this point.
Exactly. So I will say this. Last week, if y'all didn't see the whole thing, technical issues happen. Life happens. So we couldn't make the last 2 picks. It's okay. It's a late draft, whatever. Mm-hmm. But what we got out of all these, if there was a dark horse pick that, and I will admit, day or 2 after, I relooked and kind of did a little draft analyzation of what we did. Out of all the picks we made, the one that I said that was a steal, Joe Alt falling to 10 is probably the steal, but I'll be let me be different and awesome.
I have a feeling I know where you're going with this.
I'm thinking of a number that is 169.
Yep, I do. I was looking right at McCormick's name. Dude.
Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State was, I think, we're not going to get into it because we got to get into the mock draft, but go back to last week's episode. I would say probably 2/3 near the end.
Yep.
That was a steal. He was projected, at least in this draft analyzer, 3rd round. We get him, I believe it was late 5, early 6, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. The intangibles were really, really good. And I think it fit that system the way we drafted at that point. So I would say that was if I'm hanging my hat on something, that was a definite good pick from last week.
No, I was very happy with the McCormick pick. I mean, everything you had to say about him, I was like, man, the fact that he's even here, like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
and even the mock draft agreed.
So screw you, Draft Simulator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Although I think that was more having to do with Microsoft Edge, but we're not using Microsoft Edge. I was smart enough to open an extra window in Firefox, so hopefully
there we go.
Hopefully we're able to finish our draft this week.
I will say this. Mm-hmm. As we get ready, we haven't done it the first 2 weeks, but I just thought about it. We need to cue the draft music. Dun, 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 dun.
We do, huh?
Yeah, we got to cue the NFL draft music.
We do. Well, you know what? Next week, I don't know if we'll get a copyright strike. I might have to get a karaoke version. We'll figure it out.
Hey, my voice will do it. My voice. Dun, 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 dun.
Might have to do that.
Exactly. But hey, 3, 2, 1, baby. Let's roll. Let's go. Mock draft number 3.
Let's do it.
We're giving them the 10 in exchange for 19. Caleb Williams, Neighbors, Alt, May, Latu, Daniels, for sure. Okay, Penix Jr., Latham, Murphy, Verse, Dijon, Turner, Fuaga. Okay, so here we go. Jets at 19.
Yes, sir.
Now, offensive linemen. This is where we're going? Is this where we feel content?
I don't know, man. I mean,
we got offensive guard. We have left tackle. In this case,
I feel like we can wait on guard at this point.
So if we can wait on guard, you want to take tackle?
We don't need a tackle.
Mm-hmm. Cornerback.
I mean, if we take another tackle, it's got to be later on in the draft for
okay.
Purposes.
Remember,
we now have Jonah Williams and AVT anchoring both into this line now.
True.
Tackle spots.
So I would say let's go with we lost Bryce Huff in the trade, so maybe look defense.
Well, I got the big board here. We got
cornerback.
We got 3 cornerbacks,
and then an edge rusher in Chop Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I'm kind of wondering.
You tell me.
I don't think we have any trade offers, do we? I don't think so.
No trade offers this time around.
Man, this is
we got ourselves into a predicament here.
We may have.
Well, cornerback position here. Let's just see what we got. If we're going to go best available, let's go through the list. The top one is Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins is the 3rd best. Then you have Taron Arnold, who's listed as the 2nd best. And then Quinton Mitchell is the 4th best. So you have 2, 3, and 4 still on the board. Taron Arnold and Nate Wiggins both have the same score of 88.7. Good thing about the Alabama kid, 81% tackling, 96% run defense, 90% on coverage, 88 on man press defense. He should be a mid-first round pick, overall 19. They relate him to Devin Witherspoon, and I believe that's a Seattle Seahawk in that sense. On the opposite side of things with Nate Wiggins, who has the same exact score, he is less on tackling, less on run defense, better in pass coverage, and better in zone coverage just by a little bit, but not in man press. So if between the two I had to go one just off the numbers, Taron Arnold would be your guy. Either one. They're both coming from 2 wonderful programs at Clemson and Alabama, full-time starters. Taron Arnold to match up with Reed and Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to be the pick here. I mean, we're going BPA at this point. I mean, the whole free agency. I mean,
I set us up
a little different this week. This is
a little different.
Something.
And some people might come after me like, we need to draft O-line.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sure, but look what I gave you.
We're definitely getting come after. Oh, I better not phrase it like that.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Pause. They're definitely coming after us. Oh, God.
I love it.
Let's get back to the damn draft. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to get the people going.
Welcome to the New York Jets at number 19 overall, Mr. Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama.
Boom. Nate Wiggins and the next best cornerback went the next two picks after that. So,
okay.
So basically, we went 2, 3, 4 in that sense. I like it. So we got to wait all the way to 52 in this sense, looking to see any big names go off the board. All right, let's see a couple wide receivers, running back. All right, a couple guys that we've picked in other drafts. Yeah. The wide receiver conversation that we had between the Florida and Florida State wide receiver last mock draft, Persall and the Florida State guy are off the board. So offensive lineman, I think this is the time where we got to, grab somebody and not wait too long.
Yeah.
Now, Kingsley Sumanati, we've talked about him back in the first draft.
We're not looking at tackles.
No, I know. I'm just looking what's on the board
here. Christian Haynes would be the next guy. Actually, right here at pick 52, I want to look at either Christian Haynes,
okay,
or Cooper Beebe. Those are our two options here. I'm going to go with.
Okay, you want offensive line,
and these guys will fill our second. One of these guys will fill our second guard spot, and our starting five will be set.
First one, you want to go with Christian Hayes. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Christian Hayes, my friend, is not in the top 12 according to NFL Draft Buzz. He is number 13, so just outside of the first round bubble. Here we go at an 85.6 out of. He was a Senior Bowl person. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at him, I believe, what is that? Connecticut, UConn, 6'2", 318 pounds. We got a beefcake with a 5'2", 40-yard dash, 87% pass blocking, 83% run blocking. For you as a Jets fan, what is more important in this upcoming defense for the Jets? Do you want more pass or run blocking? That's with these guards.
With the Aaron Rodgers out there, I believe we need guys that are more focused on the pass blocking.
Pass blocking ability. Okay, pass blocking, he is better than running. 87 to 83 in comparison, but still overall quality numbers. Overall, he was only a 2-star recruit out of high school, but worked his way. He was a fifth-year senior that saw 12 games, 802 snaps, only allowed 6 quarterback hurries, no quarterback hits, and allowed just 1 sack at the right guard position with UConn this past year. He's got high-end physical traits. His hands are one of his best attributes, upper body, strong core strength. His negatives, though, he can sometimes go up high. He's got to get more lower in the stance to get that edge in between in that sense. And look at that, what Randy's putting up on the board, exactly what I'm reading right here. So overall, good numbers right there from the offensive guard in Christian Hayes. And based on offensive guards in this draft, he is the number 1 offensive guard listed amongst that position in this draft. So you're looking at the best at this point. If you want Cooper Beebe, he is the number 2 offensive guard. So right away from Kansas State. 6'4", 335-pounder. We got an even bigger beefcake. And these numbers, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to love it. 100% in the pass blocking
category. How you been?
And 91 in the run blocking category. He isn't projected to go until the 3rd round. And we're in round number 2 right now. Over 3,000 college snaps at 50 games. So he is a elder statesman, veteran in that sense. Strong grip, unmovable for defenses to shake. He does have some struggle maintaining balance because of his weight, but I feel that's, overall not horrible. If you're looking back at Christian Hayes, they have him rated as a late second-round pick. He had 50 games as well with over 3,000 snaps. So 2 college veteran players on the metric scale. Beebe from Kansas State, better pass blocking and run blocking ability. Also, Kansas State, I think, a stronger, more competitive division than UConn has. So for me, if I had to pick the 2, Connor Beebe may be the way to go.
Yeah, I honestly don't think Beebe's going to be there when we pick in 70. I think he's going to go pretty soon. So I think right here, right now, I think we're going to go Cooper Beebe at pick number 52. Ladies and gentlemen, our starting 5 is now set. Ladies and gentlemen, New York Jets.
Cooper Beebe. I think I said Connor. Cooper
Beebe. The
Cooper. Super Cooper.
Did we draft him?
Yes.
Why? What's going on here? Why can't we draft him?
Oh, no.
What's going on? Wait. Is the draft pause or something? Oh, I see. The draft.
Oh.
How the hell did the draft pause?
Maybe either way, whatever. They allowed us to take whatever time, but once again, Cooper Beebe.
Where did Cooper Beebe go? Oh, there he is.
Oh, God, don't scare me now.
This thing's fucking me up, man. Welcome to the Jets, Cooper Beebe.
Lord, don't fail me now. Here we go. I see Brennan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, getting picked up. Ooh,
Christian Hayes went to the Texans.
Ooh, okay. DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, good pick.
All right, here we go. So Kyrie Jackson, cornerback out of Oregon, was the last pick to Arizona. So we're up at 72. Quarterback, offensive tackle, linebacker, tight end. So far, we've taken cornerback and offensive guard. Again, I think losing Bryce Huff, we should look on the defensive side of things. Linebacker, edge rusher. If we like what we see. I know we picked up Michael Pittman Jr. as a wide receiver too. I think we can wait on the wide receiver train for a little while. Who is, just for looking purposes, who is the best wide receiver that is still available?
Actually, Devontae Walker.
Devontae Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I'm not opposed to picking another wide receiver.
You also have Jalen Polk down there, who we picked in our first mock draft with a very similar pick. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, let's look back at the edge linebacker or edger linebacker. Let's go look at edge. Brandon Dorlus from Oregon. You have Gabriel Murphy, UCLA.
Hey, Marshawn Nealon. How about, we've heard that name a few times.
We've heard that name before. We've seen Javon Solomon's name a couple of times. Jonah Ellis. I think we talked about very briefly in the first mock draft. Mm-hmm. I defer to you on some of these. Where is your heart deciding to go, defense or offense?
You know what? I think I like what you said there in losing Bryce Huff. I think we have to replace him. Okay. So I think
good old edge.
Yeah, I think between these first 3. Let's go with these first 3.
Okay, I know we've talked about Nealon a little bit, and I know in whichever draft that was 1 or 2. That he had some inequalities that really didn't match up to where we were in that draft. So I want to look at Dorlus from Oregon. He's ranked as the number 11 at 84.7. Look at him right there, 6'3", 272. 6'3", 272, 4.78, 40-yard dash. 77% of the run defense, 81% in the pass rush, and 65% in the tackling scheme. Predicted to go third round, 79th overall. So right now, where are we at? We're at 72.
Yes,
so roughly around that same position that he should be. Had over 2,100 snaps at college, 57 collegiate games at Oregon, who's a powerhouse in the now deceased Pac-12 conference. He's not related, but player similarity to Tuli Tuipulotu from USC, so very similar qualities in that sense. Elite athletic skills. He's on the freak list of athletes in this draft. 6'3", 290, power numbers. He squatted 685. Ooh, there's some strength on that edge rush. He's explosive and solid, but he doesn't reach elite levels. That's one of his weaknesses. But on a positive side, lateral agility goes his way. So there is explosiveness in that, and he can go 20.75 miles per hour on the jump.
Can you imagine a big man doing that?
That is a big man at his weight. So you have that going for you with Brandon Dorlus coming out of Oregon as a Duck. Now, the second gentleman that you wanted to look at was Gabriel Murphy. He's number 13, so only 2 positional differences between these gentlemen. 6'2", 249, 4.72 40-yard dash. Now, his tackling is significantly less at 51. His pass rush ability much higher at 91. And his run defense is about even to a little bit, I believe, more at 79. Projected to go a little bit later at 83rd overall. Only has 46 college snaps. 46 college games and 2,000 college snaps. A 3-star recruit out of Texas. He played each and every year. He was a transfer to UCLA. Excellent power with quickness, violent hands, so he's got good hands to his game. However, he's a bit stiff as an athlete, lacks flexibility and fluidity. So in this sense, at the end of the day, he is a violent tackler when it comes to the run game, but it allows for a lot of missed tacklers. So it's basically all or nothing when it comes to his capabilities. So I think on the polished side of things, the good serve from Oregon would be the more cleaner cut pick in this scenario. And I think when you're looking at a replacement, this isn't a backup situation. You need someone who's a little more polished. Brandon,
another situation,
yes. Because who knows? Bryce Huff could be back. You never know what the situation could be for the
never
Jets
know.
in reality. But
I like
throw up the O for Oregon. Hey,
Absolutely.
he was wearing green already with the Ducks, so why not wear green on the East Coast? Brandon Dorlus, I think I've got to enlist him as the quote unquote GM this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jets. Defensive edge from Oregon, Brandon Dorlus. All right, we don't pick again until pick 112.
And this is a situation where we're going to have 2 picks out of 3 options here. So this is where we can really dabble and get some interesting scenarios. Maybe this is the opportunity to take a wide receiver. Who my Niners pick? Mason Smith, an edge rusher.
Hey.
I like it. He could be in a tandem with some of the best edgers. Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Dre Greenlaw.
All right. We are officially on the clock. Pick 112.
We get the Raiders sandwich between us. So a lot of defense. We talked about it already in the last pick. I'm feeling this is the time where wide receiver comes out to play.
Okay.
We got some Purdue, some Louisville, some A&M, some Florida State. Okay, now this is an interesting one. Very interesting one in this case.
We picked Johnny Wilson last week.
And we were comparing him to, was it Ricky Pearsall or Ronnie Pearsall from Florida? Mm-hmm. And I saw on the draft board, Pearsall went before our second pick at 52. He went 51. So to see this steep drop, and we both agreed that Johnny Wilson was the better of the 2.
Yes.
So again, different mock system, different ability.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this scenario, just because we know what Johnny Wilson height, strength, physicality, why not go for something a little bit different here? Let's look, Purdue.
Mr. Tyrone Tracy Jr.
6'1", 210.
Why is he wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey?
Those damn Purdue Boilermakers over there out of Indiana. Yeah. But, let's scroll down and see what Mr. Purdue's got to like here. Good 40-yard dash. 72% when quarterback is targeted, hands 75, routes 70, deep threat 77, blocking 62, not horrible. Should be in the 4th round, so we're in that right vicinity. 62 games at college, so big veteran at the college realm. Little history on him, junior, senior. I like what I see. Average. Okay, let's see what his strength is. Read him to me, Randy. I want to hear your take on this.
It says he is a fluid athlete with excellent short area quickness. So it sounds like he's explosive, right off the ball.
Yep.
He should be able to create separation, and he has straight line speed to threaten down the seam. Okay, so I mean, this guy's. He's a mauler.
I like the last bullet point of he's capable of making difficult catches in traffic over the middle. So he kind of turns into, that guy that just, sometimes when you need a big play, he ends up showing up for you.
Yeah.
So, and especially learning from Michael Pittman and Garrett Wilson to be able to accentuate that factor is going to be very nice. Could be very nice.
Now,
Not many weaknesses.
He's not physically imposing. He is on the small side of things at 6'1". He's small framed. He won't be able to carry much more weight. I mean, he's kind of coming off as an Xavier Gibson type.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit better.
Drops with hands. That's not great. Aaron Rodgers will not appreciate that.
Luckily, that's coachable. Hopefully we can coach that out of him. Yeah.
Yep.
Drops have been a fucking big thing for the Jets as of late,
Yep.
especially with guys like Alan Lazard.
Yep. So Tracy's big negative in what the Jets have now is the drops.
Yeah, but like I say, totally correctable if it's able to be corrected.
Yeah, and I would say this. We can choose between looking at Thrash or Smith, but if we don't like what we get from either one, Johnny Wilson, a good old favorite from last week, is still available in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamari
Thrash, a lot shorter. He's a 5'11", 185.
Okay. He's only a junior, though, so he's not going to have as much experience coming out of the college game, a 4.3 now, but the intangibles, the intermittent routes. Now, the previous receiver, Tracy, was in the primary 70 range. We got 380 percentile.
Hands, though, bro. Those hands. Oh.
Yeah, the hands.
You're getting a D in the fucking hands department, brother.
That's a rough one already to kind of go off.
I don't even know why I want to go any further, but we'll to humor the fan base.
Let's just go with the pros and cons. Let's just cut to the chase and see what they say about strengths. Uses downfield approach, excellent downfield. Okay, fluid athlete, deep routes. Okay, so he's a deep throw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they're all saying. I'm not going to read through every single one.
He's probably your 9 route guy. Just give me a deep one if you got.
He's got breakaway speed. So speed and deep. What does he got? Lacks the twitch to create consistent separation. Very similar.
Wow.
Isn't going to overwhelm.
A guy with some speed can't even get fucking separation. That's a little scary.
I'm not thrilled by that one. So honestly, if push comes to shove, if the top two aren't doing it for me, let's remind the fans of Johnny Wilson.
Yes, let's do it.
Because we were impressed last week.
Yeah.
Here's 6'6".
He's a big fucking kid, dude. 6'6", 230 pounds. Look at that 4'4", fucking 40-yard dash. Dude, this kid can fly. A big body that can fly.
Now let's just look at the percentile of the hands. That's all I want to know. 58. So the hands are worse.
Wow. I don't remember him being that bad on the last simulators.
Yeah. So, but if you look based on the percentages, the Louisville guy has better overall number on the rating scale. Mm-hmm. Shocking enough. But let's go down to pros and cons here for a minute and see if there's any glaring issues with the, let's see pros. Let's go to weakness.
Where am I at? There.
You're at strength. Oh, pardon me, strength.
I'm going all over the place. My bad.
Elite catch radius, high point specialist, run after catch, master of the aerial game, contested catcher, bell cow back, and so there's good many pros. I think there's an endless list of pros that you can make about this gentleman. Weakness, challenges of separation. Okay, Okay, physical attributes could be double-edged sword. His height makes him play too tall. Limited route tree, blocking inconsistency. So really on the weaknesses side, they don't talk about a weakness in hands, even though his rating is a little bit weaker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the body that can the Jets coach a big body wide receiver to develop? Because remember, we don't need this guy to be a guy right away. Because again, we have Michael Pittman Jr., Garrett Wilson, and Gibson is not a rookie anymore, and he showed where he has his abilities on a smaller side of things. So do you want a complementary wide receiver that changes the eye level for Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, man.
I will say we got ourselves a good one this week. I put us in a good in a very predictable, a good situation here.
Oh, man. I don't even know how I want to go receiver here now.
Nothing's biting you?
No.
Well, remember, we have a pick at 114. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's on the okay? Let's be thoughtful for a minute. Who's that quarterback?
Oh man. Oh wow, Spencer Rattler's still there, dude.
Rattler
Travis is still there, dude. Oh man.
Okay. Jordan Travis is an interesting case because of all the controversy that happened at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
He had a phenomenal, I guess people said, he had a Heisman Trophy caliber season. Wow. I'm intrigued that he's still there. Let's take a look at Spencer Rattler first, and then we'll look at Mr. Florida State after. Because I believe you're not a huge Spencer Rattler fan.
Meh.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what we got here. 91% on long passing, medium passing, short passing, release speed 83, projected to go in the 4th round. Okay. It's something to work with here. As you go down into the strengths, high prospect, a lot of pass, overall arm, ball placement is a strength, accuracy, pure athlete. Okay, all the intangibles that a quarterback should have. Weaknesses. Doesn't fit the ideal quarterback mold. Well, that's what they said about Brock Purdy, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah.
Pocket composure is not great, so that means you're going to need a highly skilled offensive line, which I'd say we put together thus far.
Sure.
Questions lingering regarding football acumen. Okay. NFL standards, rather, is that to solidify, exhibit decision-making skills. And I think decision-making, was that something that Zach Wilson didn't have a lot of?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So Spencer Rattler, he has the arm and the ability. It's the IQ that's the big question.
Oh, God, here we go again with that shit.
Yep. So let's go, Mr. Florida State, Jordan Travis.
Travis, yeah. I hear a lot of good stuff about this kid on X. From a lot of
6'1", 212. Like that.
On the shorter end.
On the shorter end. 91% on the long passing, 82, 80% on the release speed, 74% on the rush. So very similar to Spencer Rattler in that sense. But it's funny for somebody to be nearly a Heisman Trophy candidate to only be considered in the top 5, or 5 rounds, I should say.
Yeah.
Improvised skills, combines a cool, calm demeanor, stands out with throwing mechanics, high discipline footwork, flashes of arm excellence, altering speeds. Okay, versatility. But here come the negatives. Inconsistent lower half mechanics, arm strength, serviceable isn't an elite, despite his agility can be occasionally cornered. But they don't talk about a horrible IQ. It's more of the mechanics and serviceable time with more experience that he needs.
Yeah.
But again, Aaron Rodgers, you got a couple more years. You got 2 years of Carson Wentz that we selected here in the free agent class. You're not looking for a backup quarterback. You're looking for somewhat of a project, but not a home improvement project, but something where you just got to grease at the hinges a little bit.
Yep.
I think, again, we're in the latter stages of this draft. I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd say Florida State over South Carolina quarterback at that point.
Yeah.
He had the intangibles in that sense. Again, we have a pick upcoming in one pick, so we can adjust that as we go along.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go quarterback here.
Okay, quarterback. You make the pick, my brother.
All right. I think we'll go Jordan Travis.
All right.
Number 112, ladies and gentlemen, quarterback, Florida State, Jordan Travis.
Now, here's the one thing difference between last week's draft and this week. We're not getting the grades like we did last week.
No grades.
So you the fans have to figure it out for yourself. So Wingo, the defensive tackle from LSU, goes to the Raiders. So we're back on the clock with 4 picks to go.
Yep.
Oh no, pardon me, three picks including this one. Pardon me.
Oh yeah, you're probably looking at
because those are next year's. Yeah. So wide receiver, I know we weren't sold on anybody, so we have the same wide receivers out there that we had before.
Yep.
We've taken a quarterback. We've already taken a backup running back in the free agent class with Zach Moss.
Hey, look at our good friend Cedric Gray.
Said again, if all else fails, we know what Gray brings to the table.
Yeah. What do you think about some depth pieces here?
I could take some depth pieces at where? Offensive line?
Absolutely.
All right, let's see what we got. Now, we did talk about the Utah in the very first draft, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Lemuel.
All right, and we liked a little bit of Lemuel, but Matt Goncalves out of Pittsburgh?
That works for me.
Let's look at what he's got on the table here.
Because he is a beefcake.
Ooh. All right, a little beef up that offensive line here.
Mm-hmm.
He is rated, as you scroll through, 80% on the pass blocking, 68 on the run blocking ability. Now, if we want to go depth piece, if we took a pass blocking pro, let's look at the run blocking ability here in this case scenario. He ranks he's 22 out of all of the offensive linemen here in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth round pick is where he's projected. And at the end of the day, 35 college games, 1,600 plus snaps. I like where that's coming from. Again, I like veteranship ability at the collegiate level, especially for the Jets, for where they are right now.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to do too many projects. Prototypical build for an edge along with height, shoulders tapered, fires off quick, thick build, strong upper body, so a lot of strength to his game. So his strength is his strength.
Right.
Weakness needs to work on technique, susceptible speed rushers, quickness off the snap, doesn't possess the acceleration of arm length, can look a little shaky in pass protection up against power. Okay. But he's got the intangibles, though.
Mm-hmm.
Lemuel, though, from Utah, he has a better run blocking ability at 72, but his pass blocking is only a 58. So there's that steep difference. So if we want, we already took a pass blocking type guy. If we want to look more on the run heavy ability, right off the bat, Mr. Utah is going to be the way to go. He's projected to go 113. He's actually... And I can relate here, and I will flip the GM hat to the 49er hat for a minute. They compare him to a Spencer Buford, which is currently on the 49ers offensive line right now, who does have that elite run blocking ability speed. Hello, Christian McCaffrey is who we have on the team right now, so that kind of helps the cause. And you don't see Brock Purdy get into too many sackable situations. So right there, if you're looking at comparison ability, there's a nice comparison straight off the bat. Strength, natural power, high-end physical traits, quickness and flexibility, which was what the previous guy from Pitt did not have. Mm-hmm. On the negative side, a bit underpowered, which you wouldn't see that with coming off of over 300-pounder at that point. Subpar footwork and fails to finish blocks. I feel failing to finish a block in comparison to the angles and the flexibility and the quickness is more teachable. Like, okay, just get the guy down faster. I feel that's a little faster to deal with, mm-hmm. especially in the coaching ability. So based on the strength and weaknesses and the projections, I would go Utah over that.
Okay.
I go Lemuera.
All right. Well, that works for me. Ladies and gentlemen,
Another Pac-12.
yeah, Satoa Lemuea, offensive tackle, Utah.
There's your depth piece.
I love it. I love it.
Now we have 2 picks remaining, including Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, not quite. That's 3.
Oh, not quite. Oh, 3 picks away from
3
Irrelevant.
picks before, yeah.
Hey, I just saw the 49ers took our buddy from Purdue, Tracy Jr., the wide receiver.
Hey.
All right, we like.
Oh, Mason McCormick just got drafted.
Oh no! Now we could have taken McCormick because we loved him,
Yeah.
but trying to be a little objective early on here. As we get deeper into the mock drafts, we probably won't be as objective at that path. We won't be as objective. You know how it goes. So we got 187. So as the simulation goes, how are you feeling with what we have? Because I feel this is a very different feel to this draft right now.
Way different. I mean, we took a corner in the first round, which in most of our drafts we probably won't do.
Yeah, but again, picking Jonah Williams and Kevin Dotson in our free agency, it alters the course. So next week when Randy is back to being the GM, maybe we'll see some differences in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
we may be a thing where we switch off. You're the GM one week, I'm the GM the next week.
Sure.
It's like that. I'm loving this. I mean, you'll see different minds at work here, and I'm not. And this isn't to say that what Don put together this week is bad. It's a really good free agency class. You just got to understand what it is that you're needing and what you're looking for.
Exactly, and again, we're throwing out so many different scenarios because we don't know what's going through JD's head up in the front office right now. So, hey,
nobody does.
We got to enjoy the offseason somehow. So let's spice up our life a little bit and see what we got.
Absolutely. So we're here at pick 187. So we're going to murder the draft right now.
Okay. So if you look at what we've had so far, we've gone cornerback, we've gone offensive guard, defensive end, rush style, quarterback, and offensive tackle. We have not taken a wide receiver at any point so far.
No, we haven't.
Is this the point where we do? Because all 3 that we talked about before are adios muchachos. And the Tulane, Jaquarin Jackson, is the best available wide receiver of the bunch.
Yeah, I think it is time to pick a receiver. We're 2 picks out of this thing before.
Yeah, we can't walk away without having a wide receiver. So if Tulane's the best you got, then it's Cornelius Johnson and then Taj Washington out of USC, who, again, objectively or subjectively, I'm a USC fan, so I've seen plenty of Taj Washington. And he has, just based on my eye test, good speed, breakability. I'm interested to see what they talk about him in this case. But you choose where we go. Let's see a little Washington for a second. See where they rate him out.
Ooh, he is a short son of a bitch.
He is short. I will say that. So, if you want height, it may not be for him, but he's 90% on the deep threat, pass blocking ability, 60, but a lot of high 80% tangibility. And there's your hands at 81.
Yeah.
So there's a likey for you and Jets fans at home that want to have a more concentrated effort on holding the damn ball.
Damn right.
So let's see at the pros for Mr. Taj Washington of USC. Excellent blocker on the outside. Now, I've talked about that ad nauseum because I know the 49ers have that with Debo and Kittle and Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk. It's that pass blocking that really accentuates the running game and especially the yards after catch game. So right there, if you're looking at Taj Washington, that's a very good situation, especially with having fluidity with the ball and good hands and a good IQ. Washington's problems with dropsies, doesn't have the size to be consistent. He also lacks sudden route running ability. So what you get in blocking is what you lose in hands. But it's
size scares me though.
But he rates over 80% with hands, but then they're saying he's a poor handball player. So that's why. But we looked at a couple other wide receivers that have gone that had like a 60 percentile, and they didn't really talk about the hands much. So that's where I'm very
Another short motherfucker.
okay. But what is his hands? What is his hands rating? Way below at 65. Interesting. Now, do his cons say anything about hands? He's comfortable in traffic. His ability to track the ball is good enough, but he gets too into the body downfield. But see, they have 60 percentile in the hands, but don't talk about it in the weakness.
Let's check out Mr. Cornelius Johnson.
I think we're really focusing on hands here.
Hey, we got some bigger dude here.
Okay, we got a bigger dude here. Hands, 66.
Man,
This is weird.
I think I know where we're going.
If you want hands,
I want the guy that can catch.
and even though there's negative comments about Taj Washington, his metrics say he's a hand guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a 4.43 40-yard
And
dash.
I'm not asking my 5'9" fucking receiver to be blocking anyway. He's not fucking Smith.
Well, and the thing is, he has only a 60% in blocking, but that's under his strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we're looking at metrics and eye test, okay, Taj Washington. I like the blocking and the hands that they claim he doesn't have, but they metric him saying yeah. So let's go with the metrics. My God, this is a weird draft tonight.
I'm telling you.
Hey,
I don't know if we're gonna use this one going forward. I'm not sure.
Hey, but hey, it's something.
I like the one last week. I don't know why we didn't use that one again.
Hey, either way, I'm very intrigued, man. But what's funny is in the other two drafts, this is the site I used to base the metrics off of.
Mm-hmm.
So the metrics is good, but the pros and cons, the comments don't match up to the metrics. So who does that say? Is that more on the metrics or the pundits that are making these comments?
Probably the pundits.
So maybe this is a good draft system to use. Who knows? That's the uniqueness.
With that, we're going to go ahead and choose Taj Washington, wide receiver out of USC.
That is the third Pac-12 pick of the night. Oregon, Utah, now SC. We're bringing a little West Coast football to the East Coast.
And we have finally reached our final pick.
The pinnacle.
253, round 7 as we wait for our turn.
I think I know where we need to go.
Please do tell.
Well, let's see. Where are my 49ers picking first and foremost? Just looking. Okay, a little centerman, I see where my Niners are going in this case scenario. Frank Gore Jr. has been picked up in the early 220s.
No!
So our prototypical family.
I was going to pick him and cut Zach Moss.
He had that McCole Hardman to his game.
We're going to see him on fucking Vlad TV.
Oh, my God.
With his shirt off. Oh, man. We're on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus.
Man, we're getting delusional here in this draft. It's been an interesting draft here, folks. Thanks for sticking along with us here on the One Jets pod.
I think I want to go offensive line depth again.
You read my mind. I think we didn't get it at the top because we traded down to number 19. Mm-hmm. So why not just kind of reassure it at the back end? And when you're this late in the draft, do you just take best available in this case, or do we try to find a sneaky underdog type mentality because you have Marshall, Holy Cross, Howard, UCF, Kentucky. So a lot of different colleges that don't really get,
I feel like since we already picked offensive tackle depth, I think we should go interior line depth here.
Let's go interior line depth. Let's go.
So we're looking at either CJ Hansen, possibly Kingsley Ugakan, who could probably be moved to the interior line.
Okay.
And that's it. So we're looking at CJ Hansen or Kingsley Ugakan, which we'll look at him first since we're already down here.
Ugakan.
Yeah. Big old boy, 6'3", 300 pounds.
300. What are his intangibles? 72 and 67% on the blocking abilities from pass to run, respectively. Projected to be an undrafted free agent, but 56 best at the position. 36 games. Okay, I see where we're going here.
Flashes power and nastiness in the run game, able to win at the point of attack, and athletic enough to get out as a pulling blocker before leading blocks on the move at the second level. Man, he kind of sounds like a little bit of Nick Mangold coming out of Ohio State back in the day.
Okay, I like the pulling ability, especially if you want to expand Breece Hall's game. And in our free agency, you have Zach Moss. You can utilize multiple different types of running backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy sounds like a fucking force in the run game.
Okay. Any negatives?
His weaknesses are sometimes he gets too impatient to sit back in his set and lunging, generally playing with poor balance, which is totally correctable. Needs to work on his technique. I mean, not too many bad weaknesses.
And he comes from the SEC.
Yes, sir.
That's a nice little comparison at the end of the day.
Not a bad first profile there between.
Not a bad first profile. Gives us something. So C.J. Hansen out of Holy Cross.
Holy Cross.
Holy Cross
and holy crap! This is a big motherfucker.
And
6'6", 300 pounds, brother.
And he's just from New Jersey.
Ooh, he's a Jersey boy.
He's a Jersey boy. He'd be a homecoming for him.
Ooh.
Now, he does have better run blocking and pass blocking abilities. He is projected to be an undrafted free agent. Overall,
41 college games. I'm guessing he was a fifth-year senior, maybe?
Fifth year. So look at his bio. Let's see what he's got. 3-star recruit, freshman. Does he have that fifth-year ability? That would be a yes. Randy getting some GM points there. Hansen is a working.
That's a lot of. I feel like that's a lot of games for
but he's a work in progress with high-end physical traits, extremely light on his feet for a 300-pounder, has a chance to develop as a right tackle or possibly inside at guard.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at him for.
Okay, here we go. He'll give effort but doesn't generate much power at the point of attack, has issues against quality counter movers.
Okay.
Based on that, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah.
I think that there's a difference in coachability with the intangibles, and that one I feel shucking off aggressive, defenders is a little bit harder sometimes to teach than just the basic footwork.
And not to mention the program difference here between fucking Holy Cross and Florida.
Holy Cross, we're going with Florida.
Holy Cross! Ladies and gentlemen, not from Florida, not from Holy Cross, but from Florida. Center, soon-to-be interior lineman, Kingsley Aguacan, if that's even how you say it.
Hey, give him a little guac. Hey, he's going to be wearing green, so it's guac and guacamole. Oh my gosh!
Well, we got to do all this stuff, huh? Draft complete. I don't need to save all.
No, we're just gonna look at what we have. So Arnold. So we got Terrion Arnold to start things off.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. Okay, here we go. So we got Terrion Arnold, CB, 19th overall. Cooper Beebe, 52nd overall in the second round, offensive guard out of Kansas State. Third round, 72nd overall. Brandon Dorless, edge rusher out of Oregon. Then we picked up a quarterback at the 112th pick, fourth round, Jordan Travis out of Florida State. Then you have fourth round, 114, offensive tackle out of Utah. Say the name, brother, because you said it better than I did.
Satoa Lemuea.
And then we stayed with the Pac-12 at wide receiver with Taj Washington. And then ending it all, you said it best. It's like guacamole.
Kingsley Aguacan.
And again, the trade at the beginning, at the top of this draft, was we dropped down from 10 to 19 and got a second-round pick as well in this draft. So initial thoughts, this was a different draft. I think it had a very different vibe to it, especially right at the top. We were kind of freaking out on who to take at the first overall spot. And I'm going to guess probably for Randy being GM next week, that's going to change a little bit. I have a feeling that's going to change. But looking at the bottom, who we had with Jonah Williams, Kevin Dotson, Michael Pittman Jr., Zach Moss, Carson Wentz, we had the affordability to not take left tackle or offensive guard right away, but we did take depth pieces, especially at the offensive side of things.
Yep.
Beebe, Lamuea, and Ugakin at the end of the day. So overall, if I had to pick one, honestly, I'm gonna go to either Cooper Beebe or Brandon Dorlus. I think those two guys, I think based on the metrics that we had, I like both of what they brought to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And Beebe, just a big guy coming out of Kansas State.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's going to be your first in line offensive guard after Kevin Dotson, yeah, I like it.
I mean, you're talking a line of. Let's go back to the free agent picks here. You're talking a line of Jonah Williams, Kevin Dotson, Joe Tippmann, Cooper Beebe, and Elijah Vera Tucker. Holy,
that's a lot of beef.
Shit, a lot of beef, bro. And ain't nobody getting to our quarterback.
No, and remember, we adjusted in this draft. I believe Cooper Beebe had the more pass blocking ability. And then as we got down lower in the draft for more developmental pieces, we took more of the run blocking element.
Right.
So again, that highest offensive line pick that we took at 52nd overall at Cooper Beebe, he is that pass blocking. And for you being the number one Jets guy here on the One Jets pod, you wanted more of a pass protection because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. And
what has happened with the Achilles and just Aaron Rodgers being a pocket passer. So I think we got it right then and there.
Yeah. And I don't think you need the greatest, guys that are, when it comes to the run, because we got a guy like Breece Hall. Breece Hall can create his own hole sometimes. I mean, he's just elusive. He's fast. He's quick. I mean, you just need guys doing enough, create just enough of a hole, and that's all Breece needs, and it's nothing but beep, beep, see you later, bye. So
yeah, so you can have that affordability at the end of the day, but
absolutely
overall,
decent draft, not bad.
Well, if you just look at it, heavy SEC,
yeah,
with at the top and bottom, heavy Pac-12 with Oregon, Utah, and USC. And then you shuffle in a little Big 12 with Kansas State and ACC with Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
So quality of programs always factors in my humble opinion. And I feel all those programs are contender worthy at the end of the day. So you're going to get a lot of maybe developmental players, but they're going to be ready. They're not coming, no offense to CJ Hansen at a Holy Cross or guys that weren't veteranship players in their college careers. If the Jets want to take a development piece, great, but we don't need a fixer-upper. You just want to...
And remember, we also have Max Mitchell and Carter Warren as depth pieces, too, that we drafted. I think one a couple of years ago, and there's one just like last year, I think.
Exactly. So I think, again, the affordability based on the free agent signing. Yeah. So in this draft, more of a heavy free agent signing and a lighter draft, but still an effective quality draft, I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, if the Jets went into the season with what we just did, I'd be fucking happy, dude.
At the O-line position, definitely.
Oh, everything. I'm talking from the free agency moves that we made here, even, aside from what I didn't like as far as the running back and quarterback. Mm-hmm. But if we went into the season with this and with the draft we just put together, dude, I wouldn't complain. I'd say, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, again, a very different draft at the end of the day. But overall, I still think a solid draft. If you look, you look to the bottom left this week, we don't get the grade rating like we got last week, so we don't know how these quality picks maybe stacked up to last week. But last week, we got very lucky with Joe Alt falling to number 10 and a couple different areas. But we did see guys like Johnny Wilson and.
Could you imagine Joe Alt going to us this year and we thinking about passing on him? I don't think I would.
But we got lucky with some good picks like Joe Alt, Johnny Wilson, Cedric Gray, Mason McCormick, and those guys were still available. But again, early on in the offseason with these mock drafts, we want to spread the field out a little bit. I know we'll probably get content in our ways, maybe when we get to mock draft 6, 7, closer, maybe more so in maybe March, April.
I'm thinking next week, one of the moves, not so much a free agency signing, but maybe we acquire a player through a trade.
All right, that's something that we
you
haven't
and I,
done
you and I will.
We'll
get
have
together.
to
We'll discuss
hey,
the numbers and the
let's call it
what
this
it's
way.
going to take.
I was GM this week. Let's be co-GMs.
There we go. Because I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
when I tell you this scenario, I am leaning and looking at Mr. Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, okay. For the love of the draft, because I'm a Niner fan, and I will put the disclaimer out there, and I'll say it next week if this is the direction we go. I do not want to get rid of Brandon Ayuk. He will get an extension. He will be a 49er. But for entertainment purposes, because I'm a Niner and you're a Jet, let's talk. Let's put the Niners and the Jets in a head-to-head trade, because the Niners and Jets do play each other in 2024 in the Bay Area. So. Put your best foot forward and let's see what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude this week's episode 3 of the One Jets Pod weekly mock. Again, Dominic, I appreciate your services. Once again, well done. Hell of a draft. Hell of a free agency.
Thank you very much.
And again, thank you guys for all your support and for checking us out here on the One Jets Pod. If you're listening on the audio side of things, thanks for listening all the way to the end. Make sure to keep following us and give me those 5-star ratings. If you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Smash that bell notification so you're notified every time we drop a piece of content. We will be back next week with episode 4. Like I said, who knows? Brandon Ayuk could be a Jet. We'll find out. And don't forget to check out our other episode from this week. We just dropped it right before we did the mock draft. It's our weekly podcast show. It's me and Dominic. We talk about kind of some of the bullshit that went on this week through the media and
the clown show in the league.
The clown show. So make sure to check that out. So again, on behalf of Brandon, Dominic, and myself, we thank you for checking us out here on the One Jets Pod, and we'll see you down the road. Go Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hit it!